So we're going to talk about what does a project manager do for a construction company? A lot. You got a couple hours, let's go. But first of all, in my opinion, which some people don't agree with a little bit, I have clients, we argue about subtleties of what they do and what they don't do and who's accountable and responsible for what. But basically, in my opinion, the project manager is 100% accountable and responsible to achieve the goals and achieve the results of the job. So what is that? Make money, finish on time, do all the documentation, oversee the supervisor, foreman crews, not hands-on, but through their people. You know, they're responsible for the performance of their field supervisors and foremen, even though they're not the supervisor or foreman. Their job is to monitor the team, manage them, direct them, enforce the rules, hold them accountable for budget, schedule, quality, safety, contract, and keep the customer happy, customer satisfaction. So in my opinion, they're 100% accountable to get the job started and finished the way you want it done, period. Now, there'll be some subtle agreements or disagreements on who's supposed to watch the field, who's supposed to watch safety, all those kinds of things, but I don't really care. To me, the PM's over the whole thing. The project manager is over the whole operation to get the job built on time, on budget, and safe, right? That's the key. So let's talk about budget. First of all, the estimator prices the job, you win the contract, and we get awarded the contract. It goes directly to the project team, which the project manager is the captain of the team. They're accountable to finish the project on budget without any profit shrinkage. You know, if we bid it to make 100 grand, we need to make 100 grand, right? So we have to establish the budget. So we take the bid, we meet with the team at the beginning of the job and we create the budget. So the bid is what it is. The budget's what it's really going to take. So let's say, well, for me, for example, one of the first jobs I ever ran when I was in my early 20s, the guy handed me a set of plans and a budget and say, "Go, George, call me when you're done." That was the best experience I ever had. I was in my maybe 25 and I got handed a job and he says, "Finish it." I better figure this out. And I had like 2 years experience. But that was a great learning curve. I had to make the decisions, hire the subs. And I was also the superintendent and project manager for a general contracting job for a developer. So that was exciting because I had to make all the decisions. And after a few weeks, I've been looking at the budget, awarding subcontracts. Well, you award the earthwork, then you award the foundations and the slab and the structural components. And you start building up the building, getting higher, and you got to do all the earthwork first. Roof. Where's the roof? There's no budget for roof. My boss forgot the roof. So now what do? We only get so much money. It's called $1 million. I think it was $750. There's no more money. You only get $1 million. So am I going to tell the project manager he only gets $1 million, take it or leave it, and affect his incentive plan, his bonus plan, and call him a bad project manager if he can't get the roof done for free? No. So we have to adjust our budget. So one of the first things we do is we set up our budget. We download it in the software through our assistant, our project administrator. You've got to have a project administrator. I don't want my project manager who makes 100 grand plus doing 40, 50 grand work. I want my assistant administrators to do the download of the computer, organize the plans, type the subcontract, send them out, get all the shop drawings and submittals in. I want my PM to oversee it. I don't want him to do it. He's still accountable to make sure it's happening and it gets done properly, right? So we set up the job cost report. We set up the submittal and shop drawing report, all at the beginning through my administrator. We've set up the labor scorecards so we can track that every week. We set up the time cards so they match the job. We set up our change order template so when we bill for change order, extra work, we're going to get our numbers because it's going to be per our customized change order template for this job. Every job is not the same. Some you can mark it up 30%, some only 10%. Some allow you to have a $50 rate, some will only let you have will let you have an $80 labor rate. So you have to set it up the way you want it done. So we set up a general conditions budget, we set up a schedule, our rates, And then we have to manage the schedule. So project manager's job through themselves, consultant, their project engineers, is to develop a workable schedule. So they have to meet with the superintendent, maybe meet with the subs, and develop a finalized schedule to meet the goals of the contract. So many working days, calendar days. So they do that, and then they have to draft it and update it on a regular basis. I like my big schedule updated at least monthly on a long job. And we set up the look-ahead weekly schedule for the superintendent to develop every week. So I want the PM to review the look-ahead and the master schedule with the superintendent and the foreman weekly. I want to maintain that customer relationship. So I'm going to have regular job meetings with a regular agenda set up with photos and action items and all those kinds of things. And I'm going to have a regular job startup meeting with the customer where we review the contract, the terms, the conditions, the prices, inclusions, exclusions, scopes, the milestones, the schedule, and what I expect my customer to do. How many days do they have to approve a change order? What, are we going to work for free, or are we going to get an approval before we do anything extra? So we have a customer agreement meeting, and then we also then need to have the project manager be in charge of all documentation and contract management. So whatever the contract requires. So then we're going to make sure the subcontracts are written accordingly. We're going to order all the material on time, get the submittals and shop drawings in. So we're going to procure all the materials and subcontractors. And my deal is in the first 3 or 4 weeks of the job, no exceptions. I want every contract committed, signed, executed, and sealed and delivered within the first 3 to 4 weeks of the job. Why? I don't want to wait till the end of the job to award the landscape contract, for example, and find out the guy's too busy and he can't man the job, and then I'm screwed. I got to go to the next bidder or the third bidder and find somebody, scramble around, and I'm going to lose money. It's happened to me more than once. And then lastly, I'm going to manage the closeout requirements. And that has to be completed before we get our final payment. So we're going to procure, we're going to make sure we didn't miss anything. And I mentioned submittals. We got to set up a submittal tracking chart. The project manager oversees it, the project administrator makes it happen. And we got to proactively manage change orders. All the change orders go through the project manager. The project manager is the money manager. All dollars go through the project manager. If the crew wants to have overtime, the PM needs to know about it. If the crew is asked to do extra work, the PM approves it and gets it approved in writing before we start it. So we have to get that by the project manager. The project manager also manages the progress payments. So we're going to bill the customer every month, every week, whatever your contract requires, cost plus, T&M, or lump sum percent complete every month based on whatever payment program you're on. Every job's a little different. And so we're going to approve all the subcontractor and supplier invoices, the PM, every week. That's a weekly task. And they're going to put the right cost code on it and submit it into accounting for submittal into the system. Now, if you have a project management integrated system, it'll go into there. And if you don't, you're going to submit it to the change order, the accounting department template for that. So we're going to get all the payments in. Then on a monthly basis or whatever it is, you're going to invoice the customer. You're going to get them to approve it. Then you're going to finalize it and you're going to submit it. Bug them till they pay you, right? The project manager's part of the team to make sure they pay us on time. And we've got all the documentation and lien releases, submittals, change order approvals, all those kinds of things. Lastly, we're going to oversee field management. We're going to visit the job every week. We're going to walk the job with the superintendent or the foreman. We're going to look at schedule, quality, labor productivity versus the budget. We're going to look at punch list items. We're going to look at non-conforming items. We're going to walk the job and do a detailed inspection and turn in an inspection report and a quality control punch list report every week. Make sure that the stuff gets finished by next week. So that's very important. We're going to update the schedule. We're going to make sure our percentage of completions are correct so we bill correctly, all those kinds of things. And at the end of the job, we're going to make sure we're ready for a final walkthrough, final inspection, and a final closeout. And lastly, meetings. We're going to hold our meetings. The project manager is accountable to make sure all the meetings are held, the crew meetings, the superintendent meetings, the foreman meetings, and project meetings. So we're going to have a weekly meeting with the customer. We're going to have a job startup meeting. We're going to have a regular meeting with the subs or suppliers. We're going to make sure we stay on track. And then the crew's going to meet every week to go over their job responsibilities for the week, their performance evaluations, where they are on their labor scorecard, et cetera, et cetera. So that's pretty comprehensive. So I do have a very detailed project manager job description and flow chart, and I'll be willing I'm going to offer that as part of my thank you. So I want you to visit to get the detailed printout and workbook. I want you to visit contractorjobdescriptions.com. And it'll all be in there. Also is the superintendent and the project manager job descriptions in there. And so think about that, and you're going to get a complete copy of the project manager checklist, job description, and how to run a good job. Okay, you're also going to get a chance to download the first chapter of my book, Turn Your Construction Business into a Profit-Making Machine. Okay, covered a lot in a short time. Thank you for listening. Talk to you soon.